Yo, JD here, Limitless, and today we are going to try Formula 2 F2 on F1 2019. And a lot of people have been saying that the 110 AI is pretty much almost near impossible in these cars. So that's exactly what we're going to test today. We're going to go around Silverstone, which is one of my favourite tracks on the game, and I think a good track to do F2 on because it's got some straights, got some low speed, high speed corners, change direction. And this is my first time actually doing this, so I haven't done any practice prior to this or anything at all. So I'm literally just going to jump in and see how it feels. And it's going to be very weird not to manage the ERS or even fuel or anything at all. Literally, you're just driving it with gears, and that is it. So it's going to be a bit of a new experience. And as you can see, putting up to 110 AI here, and yeah, going in the premium race team. Don't know how much of a difference there are between the teams or anything. I'm not even sure if they are equal. If someone could tell me that. As we've got the F2 logo come up here, which is very, very nice. And yeah.
And hello to everyone joining us here in Silverstone this weekend as the drivers make their final preparations for today's race. The grid is forming up and we're getting ready for what promises to be a real spectacle. With that then, let's run through the grid order. A fantastic effort from Lando Norris yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Sergio Sette Camara in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Aitken, George Russell, and Markelov, Makino, Latifi, Galeo, Nick de Vries, Fuoco, Meri, Alessio Lorandi, and Delatraz, Gunter, Boccolacci, Kari, and Luca Giotto. Maini and Nerei Fukuzumi starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost...
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy.
So let's get into it. See what the handling's like on this. As you can see, got no fuel or anything, or ERS or anything at all. Don't know what the biting point is, and trying to get a good start. Just doing a 5-lap race here, obviously against 110 AI. And first thing I noticed, that it's very, very hard to get off the line as AI is starting to bunch up between each other, which obviously is one of the downsides. We're wrestling with, I can't even pronounce his name, but I'm not even going to try. Makino behind me. Very aggressive from the onset straight away. And we've lost I don't know how many positions. Well, I think we actually gained some positions because of them bunching up in the first corner. But so far, it feels very, very tough. And the force feedback is a lot heavier than it is in the F1 car. As out breaking herself ever so slightly. She's just trying to get used to it. Actually been hit by Galeo, my teammate there. Second gear, trying to get in the throttle, and we've just been collected by the guys behind. And inevitably, we're going to have to do a little restart there. But starting back up on another one again. The straight line speed is something I noticed. And also their aggressiveness. They do not really want to back out of moves, which is actually... I quite like that, to be honest. I actually quite like the aggression that they have. But one thing I would say is that the straight line speed they have is definitely a lot more, as I need to get a lot more car control first before I even try and dissect it. But the slipstream I get from other cars when I get a run on them is a lot less than the slipstream they get on me. So it seems to compensate for the lack of cornering speed which they have particularly through Magnus and Beckett's, which you're about to see in a moment's time. They decided to really up the straight line speed and go through here again, wrestling with not my teammate, but the guy behind me. Not even going to say that because I'll probably say a swear word. But yeah, very, very aggressive, very quick in the straight line. The car just feels extremely heavy, and the force feedback, if you don't like high force feedback, then I'd probably recommend turning it down up to 10 on the force feedback settings. But obviously on the pad, you're not going to feel this or anything at all through the sticks, which pad versus wheel video is coming very soon, because with the ballast being removed, I think the pad is actually going to be quite a good contender. You can see the straight line speed again, it's just crazy, and considering we can't change fuel or ERS, you're pretty much just sitting duck. But you can see already through here how much time you just gained through the corners, and you go see it once again go through Magnus and Beckett's. We gain so much time, so it seems they're really lacking in the corners, but it's just on the straight as we try and get a good exit up here. But again, the wheel spin, it's really hard to determine when the car's going to snap on you, because it's pretty much almost impossible to save this car. Feels like you're driving a tank pretty much. And coming down towards the end of the hang straight, it's on the brakes and just through the corners where we're gaining the most amount of time. You can see pulling away from the guy behind, but just that snap of oversteer, just really want to correct the car as much as possible. And then coming through this last corner here, again, second gear, third gear, but really struggling to see where to go on. And there's just a ton of understeer in these cars, but the normal cars, they're from 2019 cars, absolutely love them, but I'm also really starting to enjoy this as well, because I really do like slow speed cars. As we go down the inside, once again, no quarter given, and don't know what you think about that, but I don't know, in real life I'd probably expect them to give a little bit of room, but if I was to make the AI either more cautious and more aggressive, I'd actually like them to be more aggressive, so I have no problem with that at all. So we'll go defend, because the straight line speed, once again, it's very, very hard. And I'm kind of starting to realise what people are saying, that this AI is incredibly challenging, and we are using a default setup, so we're not using a setup or anything at all, which will add a little bit of time, but the straight line speed here is, yeah, you have to battle them off going into here, which I don't think you'd probably, I don't know, maybe we should have the same effect on the slipstream perhaps as these guys are. They're almost going in inside the Maggers and Beckets, but going through here again, you can just see a white arrow start to almost eventually disappear, coming to hang straight, trying to keep the car straight before going to the throttle, which we've just done. And we're still in 10th place, but yeah, the handling of this car, as I said, extremely tough to drive. So let me know what you think of this, if you think it's something should be changed in the percentage. But I really do like this. I like it where you're pretty much having to push the absolute max to keep up with the guys ahead, and ideally that's what 110 AI really should be, because otherwise people who are experienced, they won't really have any sort of challenge. And this is a good thing. It really enabled you, well, it's forcing you to push the absolute limit as much as possible, as we're probably going to get a track penalty at some point, but we've actually started to catch up to our teammate behind, locking the right front going into a corner. Very easy to do. And let's see, we should have the DRS now, and let's see how powerful this actually is. So come off this corner, second gear, it's very tricky to go from second to third. There's no countdown for the DRS, so it doesn't wind down, like the line winds down like it does in the F1 2019. You just have to press it straight away, and you can see it under the brakes once again. And we should be getting relatively close through Magnus and Beckett's now. Come up on these three cars, which is Latifi and Galeo, my teammate, and come off it. It just seems to be on traction. I just seem to be quite hesitant at this point, but I'm fairly happy with this AI. As I said, I think if you put on the setup, you'd definitely be gaining a few more temps, and I don't know if it'd be quick enough for you to actually pull away, because the guys at the front, they're doing 41.9s or something like that. So that is, I don't know if I can do that kind of pace, but we can see getting a good run coming off of the hangar straight now, getting the DRS here, and let's see what kind of speed we have in a straight line. We're 1.1 up on our previous lap, no threat from behind, and let's see here, going side by side now, trying to get a good exit on the throttle earlier than the car ahead. Now they're going almost side by side going to the chicane. You can see gaining a ton of time on the brakes, but for somehow I just lost the car, just rear locking, I think, literally because of rear locking. And that's probably because my brake bias was set to 52 or something like that. So we're out the points now, exceeded track limits once again, and I think if we get another one we'll go get a penalty. So going through here now, let's see if we can stay track, which we do. And again, it just seems to be the high speed corners, they're struggling the most, but not giving any inch when you're alongside them. Well, not really alongside. If your rear, well, if your front tyre's along their rear tyre, they're not going to give you any inch whatsoever. But also, what do you think of the sound? I know in my previous video I didn't really shut up too much, but hopefully you get a good idea of the sound. Hopefully I haven't been talking every single second this video, but I really like the downshifts and the upshifts and stuff as well. And just that, if you've ever been to an F1 Grand Prix, when you know F2's on, because you can just hear the sound the cars make, like in the distance, and you kind of get that sound when you're actually on board here. So I'm really liking it. Feels great to drive, and so far in this game, handling, and just everything. Honestly, everything is just a million times better as we get in super close to Roberto Meri, ex Formula 1 driver. And now this will be a good test. Let's see how good the slipstream is actually going to be through here. So he hasn't got DRS or slipstream on the car in front, and I would say that is pretty good. And that's kind of the slipstream you get when you're on F1 2019, which on some games they were pretty OP, pretty powerful, but on this one doesn't seem to be too bad at all. And considering ERS is just so difficult to manage, it's pretty refreshing to see that as we get the 2-second time penalty now. So that was inevitably coming, but going through this corner you can see how much time we're getting fighting the car to keep it on track as well. And they said it's lap time here. I think normally when I was doing a 5-lap race I was doing, can't remember what lap times I was doing. Was I doing 31s, 32s or something? So you're about 10 plus seconds slower than what you're doing in an F1 car, which is, I think, around about right. But you can see it again, straight line speed that the cars have behind. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, I believe all these cars should be actually equal. I know different teams have different setups, but it's the same chassis, same engine, so you'd expect it to be completely equal here. And let's see if we can stay ahead going to this corner, see how far he is behind us, and see just how much time he is gaining. But going through here once again, this is the moneymaker corner where I just get out of danger, and they're going through Mackens to Beckers again. I really like this because you have to be super precise, and you can just see how much faster we are than its AI through here. But this 110 AI, I'd probably say maybe nerf it on a little bit on the straight line, but other than that, I think it's pretty happy, pretty challenging. And to win a race, you're going to have to work your balls off probably to do it with a setup and stuff as well. But I think that's how it should be. It should be we're driving the absolute max, and you absolutely perfected it as well. So coming to this last chicane here, we've got the 2-second penalty, and everyone is just so close as Lando Norris wins the race, coming around the last corner, and we are going to finish after this penalty P17. So that is my experience with Formula 2 online, or not online, but on the game itself. Against 110 AI, extremely challenging. Let me know your thoughts on this. Hopefully you're enjoying all my gameplay, which I'll be streaming pretty much most days now. Thank you so much for 64,000 subscribers now, and I will catch you soon. Peace.